Hello, welcome. I keep seeing requests on the Godot feed on Blue Sky for virtual pet stuff. And I was like, I can step up. I can be the guy. I quite like doing that. So I'm going to make us a virtual pet tutorial. I'm hoping that I can make this flexible enough to where even though I'm making something that maybe is a little bit more Tamagotchi-like, you can alter this for your needs. Before you ask, I'm pretty sure I can do the trick where the game sits on the screen with a clear background. I'm going to do that at the end when we have everything working. So thank you for the suggestion. Thank you for the comment. It's on my list, but you have to be patient and build it with me first. This is my first Godot 4.6 tutorial. I kind of hate the new UI. It's huge. It looks like a toy, but I want my UI to look like your UI so that you're not like totally lost while I'm clicking around. So I'm just going to be grumpy and get used to it. I'm going to try and do everything extremely slowly for beginners. If I'm being honest with you, I highly suspect that teenagers are going to come on here and they're going to want to do a virtual pet tutorial. Hi teenagers, you can't use my tutorials unless you've got all your schoolwork done first, all right? YouTube tutorials are for those of us who don't have any zeros in our classes. Anyway, I'm going to go very slow and I'm going to explain things, but if I lose you, I would recommend you go back and check out my board game tutorial where I do like a lot of hands-on demonstrations for what's going on the screen. Another good option is to build a platformer. I always think that should be everybody's first project is a 2D pixel art platformer, but if you're here, welcome. All right, in Godot, nodes are the things that we stick together to make games. And right now, our scene, this is our scene. It has no nodes. It just kind of looks like this. I'm using my mouse wheel to do this, by the way. So we have to put down a node. I'm going to click on the green one. Most of the stuff that we're going to be doing with this is like UI based. So green and Godot is UI. So I'm going to click and Godot makes us a node. And there's our node right there. It doesn't look like anything, but it is highlighted orange. So I guess we have more than we did a second ago. I'm just going to call it main. Double click on the node or click once and press F2 to rename it. So this node is going to hold all of the other pieces of our game. Let's give it a piece. I'm going to right click on this node and it says add child node. By the way, see over here where it says Control A? I can also highlight it and hello. Hit Control A. It'll do the exact same thing. I'm going to search for a texture rect. This is... Well, Godot beat me to it. It's a control that displays a texture. This is how we're going to put pictures on the screen. We're going to make a really cool background for our pet. So now that we've got that, this background is still gray and sad looking, so let's fix it. I gave you in the description of this video a bunch of resources that you can use. If you would rather draw your own, totally okay. I'm fine with that. But if you'd rather use mine to learn on, totally okay. I'm fine with that. I'm going to come here and find background.png. By the way, I took those resources and I just drug them right here into, this is called your file system. But now I'm going to take background.png and I'm going to drag it over to where it says texture and I'm going to drop. I said drag it over to where it says texture and drop. What happened? There we go. Now we have a background. Just to make sure I don't get lost, I'm going to come over here to Texture Rect, and I'm going to highlight it, and I'm going to hit F2 on my keyboard. Now I'm going to name it Background. Now we know it's a background, and we won't get lost with that later. So technically we have a game. I'm going to hit Control S on my keyboard. It's going to ask, do you want to save? Yeah, I want to save. Now if I hit play, I can play my game. It's going to say this, just select current. I'll explain that one later. Yeah, so my game looks like trash. Let's fix this. We have to tell Godot, I only want the game to be as big as the background. So come up here to where it says project, click project settings, and one of these under display, you've got window. And I've got my advanced settings on. If yours are off, go ahead and turn them on. Viewport is literally how big is the area that Godot is looking at. So in our case, it's going to be the same size as our background. You don't have to close out of yours. I just want to show you. If I double click background, it tells me right there, 160 by 96. And of course, if you've drawn your own, then you would have a different number. But mine is 160 by 96. So now, okay, so it still looks like trash. It's okay, we can fix it. Back into project settings, display, window, nailed it. I'm going to scroll down to where it says stretch and then the mode. If you mouse over, you can read an explanation of all of the modes, but I'm going to set mine to canvas items. And then, I always forget where this one is. Aha, there it is. We want window width override and window height override. So we're going to tell Godot, like, okay, so I know the game is this big, but I want you to make the window bigger. We're scaling it, basically. This is always going to look best if it's a multiple of whatever you put up here for width and height. If you start freestyling these numbers, Godot will act very strangely. I've already done the math for you. I have decided that 800 by 480 looks just fine. If you don't like that, just make sure you multiply 160 by something that's the same as whatever you multiply 96 by. So I think I multiplied them by 5. Somebody check me. Now, okay, it looks better. This at least looks sane. It looks really blurry though. Go back into project settings. This time, we're going to go down here to rendering and then textures. Where you see canvas texture, default texture filter, change this to nearest. That tells Godot it tells Godot we're dealing with pixel art, which is everything I gave you, but that tells Godot to render pixels very sharply. And let's see. It did it. I love that. So honestly, that's a full day of work, but I'd hate to leave you petless before I leave this tutorial. So let's at least animate a pet before we go. I've got main highlighted. And I'm going to find, it's a blue node, and it's called Animated Sprite 2D. And I'm going to click Create. And it's got a little warning here. It says, a sprite frames resource must be created or set. You can read that yourself. What it's really telling me is like, thank you for putting me down. I don't know what to animate. So we're going to tell it. I've got this highlighted and I've got the inspector up. I'm going to come here to where it says sprite frames and I'm going to click on the arrow and it's going to ask, what do you want? I want a new sprite frames. And now I have to click on the word sprite frames and it brings this up. So click, I always think of this as the waffle, which, okay, I guess it could be. I'm going to click on that. And I've given you in the resources baby sheet. Go ahead and double click on this. It'll bring this up. So Godot's not 100% sure how to divide this up, but I know that there are 2 babies on the screen. So horizontal, 2, and vertical, 1. Now, it won't let me click anything because it says no frame selected, so I'm going to put both of them in, add 2 frames. And if I click autoplay on load, and then start to playing, look, our baby animates. I'm going to come up here to the toolbar, see where it says move, click on that. You can really put the baby anywhere, I suppose, but I'm going to try to get him... Does that look centered to you? I'm actually not totally sure where center would be. That could be centered. Let me save. I'm going to click play. This is our virtual pet so far. He doesn't do that much, But I tell you what, if you come back next week, we're going to work on him and we're going to make him do a whole lot before this is over. Thank you for doing this with me. I will see you next time. Take care of yourself. Take it easy and make games. See you. Hey, real quick before you scoot, I am on buymeacoffee.com. It's kind of like Ko-Fi and Patreon together. If you found this video helpful or useful, I would appreciate you coming over here and checking this out. If you are willing or able, you can donate on this page.